Hey witches, how's it going? My name is Tommy, and we are back with another vlog. So at the time of recording this, it's actually middle of September, which means that it is spooky season, baby! Woo! Yes, these are in fact peak times for all of us. So I'm gonna be kind of alone for this one this time. We're actually gonna be over here at this place called Waterfall Glen because there is a secret little cemetery in the background that I want us to go to. And it's gonna have something very special, so stay tuned and we'll show you exactly what that means.
Established in 1925, Waterfall Glen spans 2,492 acres of native species of plants and animals, as well as many rivers, ruins, and overlooked points.
The salamander. No, that's pretty nuts, yo. The forest itself is massive and holds a lot of different attractions, including a few ponds, and as well as a few ruins from this old big nursery that used to be here. But there is one thing that is secret that many people don't actually know about.
Hidden within the preserve lies St. Patrick's Cemetery, a small graveyard built in 1849. Though still active, most recent graves belong to the family members of those currently residing within.
And that's exactly where we're going to be exploring today. Now, the cemetery itself cannot actually be accessed by vehicle. You actually have to walk down this entire trail just to get to it. And it's about like a 2.5 mile walk, especially from like the main entrance that's over here. The other entrance over there is even farther. Most people don't even realize it's even there because it goes down this weird like side trail that's said it's only blocked off to certain people. But you can actually walk down there, surprisingly. So here we can see this giant map here, right? Like this entire thing is a big circle. And we can see here that's like you are here, but then you have to follow this entire tiny path. I know the map's a little dirty, but right there, St. Patrick's Cemetery. What makes the entrance to this place even more bizarre and secluded is that right here, we actually have a service drive authorized vehicles only sign, right? Like this is the way to get to it. And right here is the sign that doesn't allow us to pass technically. It makes it seem like this is almost a road that we're not supposed to be on. Like this is only for maintenance. And yet here we are. You are in a coyote habitat. We are beginning our journey down to St. Patrick's Cemetery. Got this old sign here. It's covered by bushes. Let me try to get around that. Old sign telling us there's a right turn up ahead. Barely even read it anymore. Now you might be asking yourself, Tommy, 2.5 miles. It's not too bad, but why do you walk so far? I walk, several miles several times a day. It's mainly my daily routine. You might be asking yourself, do you just like walking? Do you like exercise? Are you just trying to stay in shape? Well, it's really none of those, I mean, really it's just a form of self-harm.
That's it.
Do you suffer from chronic pain and depression and want to make your life even worse? Try heroin.
So the reason why I'm taking us all out here today and why this is related really to Dusk by 5 is because this is actually the spot where I did a sampling project for one of our songs. Those who were at our base camp show, you might remember hearing the beginning of Dusk when we were all getting up on stage. Dusk is the first song we played. That was the instrumental one. But a lot of this spot right here, where this cemetery is today, is actually where I recorded a lot of the wind sound effects, or I recorded some of the trees rustling and whatnot. That's all I just heard at the beginning. I'll kind of provide a little bit of a sample for you right now. That's probably what you're going to be listening to. But yeah, all of that was recorded pretty much right here. Not exactly right here, but in areas similar to it. Over here at this white building you've been kind of seeing in the background right now, it's making all this wild whirring noises. This is a place, I looked it up, it's called Argonne Laboratories or something like that. You can see here, you can kind of see that sign if I go and zoom in a little closer. Yeah, it says the laboratory reserves the right, yada yada yada. Yeah, this is a big laboratory. I'm not exactly sure what it's for necessarily. But I do know, however, that this thing is loud, like insanely loud, to the point that it's not too intrusive, but a lot of that sampling that I was talking about, like a lot of that is just this laboratory just whirring away over in the background. It makes a little bit of a wind sound. You can't really too much decipher it, but yeah, you can hear it from everywhere basically. What makes this trail a little extra spooky, and I know there's a lot of bugs right now, so it's gonna be a little hard to hear me. I'll try to talk a little louder, but you know, even though we have the civilization right here, pretty much everything past this is just forest. I know I just saw a car drive by over there, but most of the time, like, this is completely empty. The last time, a few times I went, and like, you just start hearing weird noises. Like, there's like this weird thumping going on behind me to the right. There's, you know, you can like look for yourself. There's nobody there. Like, you just start hearing like these random noises out in the middle of the woods, and like, the paths, I know not too far from this point, but like, there's no way I should be hearing something from the path coming through. So it starts to question, like, where are these noises even coming from? That is one messed up sign, dude. I didn't even know they could like bend like that. Like, how does that even happen? Looks like it's been through like a fire or something. Why? Coming up right now, we're kind of getting to the very end of the laboratories. Dude, my hair is assigned to split right where my scab is. So like I said, right now we're kind of coming up to the very end of the laboratories this second. Right over here we got a little bit of like this like tree tunnel going on, man. What's confusing about this spot right here, right, is that we have this very established like trail over here, and then right next to it, like, is like this old like tire tracks and trail and whatnot. Kind of just follow this little path right here. This doesn't actually take us to the cemetery. This goes completely like just straight into the woods. This is an establishing shot that is going to be used to establish a scene. I'm kind of doing my best right now, trying not to step on like any of the fauna or anything like that. I don't want to disturb the forest while I'm here. I'm kind of just sticking with the tire tracks that are preset to me already, trying to make sure that I don't go too far. But right there is actually where I recorded one of the sound effects. You know, I was really like, but I was looking for a spot where I could get a lot of trees rustling. At the time, it was like mid-April, so the leaves hadn't come up just yet, which is perfect. But yeah, I just sat there and I just let the wind kind of rustle through the trees, do everything for me. So we finally made it about 40 minutes later and about 1.77 miles. So I guess I overshot it just a little bit. We're on about 2 miles. We have this little clearing right here, and there she is. There's the cemetery. So like I've said like numerous times before, right? We're out in the middle of scenic nowhere in terms of just like our surroundings, right? There is no way I could imagine somebody like maybe driving their car up, but like you're not kind of supposed to do that on the trails. So like there's no actual way for us to get here really besides walking this whole like 2 miles in order to get here. We even have like this kind of mediocre fence going on to try to keep out people who are trying to be bad, trying to like destroy graves and rob them and whatnot. And yet, you know, all I really have to do, right, is just push it, you know. In terms of size and dates and everything, this isn't really the oldest cemetery I've ever been to. I've been to way older, I've been to way bigger, you know, this is pretty small. But I think this place wins in terms of just pure seclusion. Like, like I said, there's just nothing around here to actually get to this. Like, I didn't even know this place existed for years. Now, I've said before that, like, really, I'm just wanted to show you all this, like, cool sampling place that I went to, you know, like, just sampling within this, like, graveyard for, like, wind sounds and whatnot. I'm not really here to necessarily like expose the dead or like make fun of people or anything like that, you know, obviously. I'm not here to really do anything but that's like disrespectful, but I just want to show you all this place. You know, this place is pretty nuts, honestly. Always curious about these graves that just like are at the very edge of the graveyard, you know, they just get like sucked in to the forest in the background. Come on with the trees. Most of the time you can't even see them. Something interesting to note on the maintenance here is that they've actually done a lot of maintenance with like the brush and like the foliage and whatnot. So like if you look here, like you see like those little holes in the ground, or like in the trunk right there. Those are used to be like really low hanging branches, kind of like that one, except even like lower and bigger. And I grabbed one of those, like one of the main wind sound effects that we use is that tree was hanging so low that I was able to just grab it and just shake it. And unfortunately this poor person who I can't actually read the name of, they kind of got the brunt of it. So whoever this is, kind of sorry. What's funny about all of this is that despite, you know, me being in the middle of like April and kind of like the end of winter, I chose the one day that had like zero wind at all. Like the tree, like, you know, like I said, I wanted the leaves to not be on the trees and whatnot, but this was like, I traveled all the way out here just to record the wind, and there was absolutely zero wind that happened that day. So a lot of my recordings I did like multiple takes on. For example, one of them was just sitting, you know, right here, letting all the birds, the squirrels and all that, all the animals, all the wind, just kind of going through everything. Interesting enough, though, right? Like I said, I had my phone like right towards the edge right there, and I was kind of sitting right here, and I was not moving like at all. I made sure like I was like holding my breath and everything for like a few minutes, kind of just making sure that I wasn't like, you know, you couldn't like necessarily hear me in the background and whatnot. Weirdly enough, on the actual audio recordings, I might include a picture if I can grab one real quickly. If it still exists, I might have deleted it. But on that recording, there's these random like sound spikes. Like not necessarily like the wind or like the leaves rustling, but like I was sitting right there, literally right there, like just listening to the nature, and there would be just no sound. And then randomly my phone would just spike in volume. I would see it on like the charts and whatnot, and to this day I have no idea like what could have caused that. It could have been an animal, could have been like maybe the wind rustling with the grass, but like I just don't know. You know, something about me is that I'm not necessarily the most superstitious person. Like I don't like necessarily believe too much in like ghosts or like, you know, supernatural things like that, but I mean I like to. I really am interested in it like quite a lot. I think it's just kind of cool. Even when I'm not necessarily like the most believing of it, I tend to like kind of force myself to believe it just because I think it's, you know, fun, really, just to be like spooked a little and be like, oh, is there a spirit, you know? But yeah, that's why I go to places like this. You know, there's actually a funny story. This one time I took Chloe to Resurrection Cemetery. Like this is big cemetery that's in the city of Chicago. I knew it from when I was a lot younger, but yeah, I took her there once just to like walk around with her and whatnot. It was a really fun day, and afterwards we got Portillo's, and then it started like biblically downpouring to the point that on our way back on the expressway we actually were like 5 miles per hour and like stopping because there was a giant tornado overhead that like you could not see. She started like freaking out, of course, because she was driving, but yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. Afterwards we watched The Grudge that day. That was a good day. And then there was this one time where we were performing at my place, Ohio, and I was in the car with Bella, and we were driving down, and on the, like, you know, we performed and whatnot, and on the way back another storm started to the point that like we couldn't actually cross the train tracks because they kept going down. Like they would go back up, and then for another 20 minutes they would just go back down because I thought there was a train, because it's just how much rain there was. that was another nightmare drive. But yeah, every time I take a woman to Chicago, it always just like it rains, it like downpours. I don't know why. But on a side note, I mean, I've been here with Bella before when we were just hanging out, but yeah, I've been to a few with her. I've been to another few with Chloe as well. Not as many, but you know, I mean, it's just like a fun place to, you know, walk around, look at the gravestones and whatnot, see all the people. Well, lack thereof, I guess. I gotta stop taking women to cemeteries. What the hell is wrong with me? So now that I've sort of been rambling on here for about like another like 10 minutes or so, I think it's not much else to show you, so I guess it's just time to leave. Oh, I've been so alone, gonna end up a big old boner. What is actually happening? Are y'all able to hear that? Because I'm not gonna be able to tell. There's like, sounds like gunshots. Like, I know it's probably not, but like, that's the best way I can describe it. It's not like necessarily as loud, but like it's like a durra, durra. Like maybe like a drill or something. But then there was like this like tornado siren that was just going on for a second. It just stopped all of a sudden. It was like coming from there initially, and then I turn around and then it's like coming from that direction. That was weird. It's always weird, man, out here. I don't know. I'm just heading on the way back, and like you just, when you're so far out in the woods, you start hearing, oh, there it is again. Now it's like singles. What are these noises? But yeah, you start to just like hear so many different things. Sometimes they're animals, sometimes they're just like people in the general area, probably like forest rangers and whatnot doing stuff, but like, I don't know, it's just something about the atmosphere of this place is just like really cool, really spooky, ooky dooky. And it, I don't know, it's just so far away that you just start to imagine and hear things, really. Yes, I did have to walk another 8 miles to get those establishing shots. Anyways, everyone, I hope this wasn't the most boring video that you've watched today. Be sure to check out our other content. You might like it a little better. I'm really tired. Check out our music. You know the drill. There's not really much else I can really say other than good night, witches.